And with me here in studio to analyze this further, our senior defense correspondent, Jonathan Regev. Jonathan, the New York Times has put out a report showing satellite imagery that was taken yesterday that shows the substantial scale of Israeli tanks built up about 5 kilometers inside the Gaza Strip. Now, war has two sides to it, and so yes, while Israel is advancing its operation inside the Gaza Strip, there's also a map that has come out from the Israeli side showcasing how this all started by mapping out very clearly the attacks against Israeli civilians. And when we look at this map, you can clearly see the different points of where the attacks were in Israeli territory, which is just striking, but also which of the people were kidnapped, missing, and which were murdered.
Yes, and we're seeing it on the map. First, let's remember and let's remind perhaps the international community, which may have forgotten because all they see are images from Gaza. This is what happened on October 7th. This is what made this war begin. Had this not happened, we wouldn't be at war right now, but it did happen. And we're seeing this map where did the vast majority of the Israelis were killed, massacred by the beasts of Hamas terrorists came in, and we saw, especially in the area of two focal points, Be'eri in the southern part of the Gaza border and Kfar Aza in the central part of the Gaza border, both very close to the border itself. These are the communities which were severely hit. These are the places, and there we can see it again. You can see where for example, the Be'eri massacre, that's where the party took place, and just to the north of it we see Kibbutz Be'eri. Both of these locations very close to the Gaza border itself. This is where a lot of much of the massacre took place. Kfar Aza, the community that we're seeing now, also I've been to Kfar Aza tens of times. Kfar Aza sits right on the border itself, same as Netiv HaSara, which we're seeing right now. Netiv HaSara is a community which ends on the border fence itself, and therefore all the terrorists had to do were go in with using their paraglides, coming in and come in. The city of Ofakim, which we're seeing now, rather further from the Gaza Strip,
the farthest point, I believe, actually.
Some 15 miles or so from the Gaza border itself. This is how far the terrorists were able to infiltrate into Israel, and there was great concern at the time. Now we're more than 3 weeks away, but there's great concern that the terrorists would continue. Ofakim is on the way to Beersheba. Beersheba, a city of some 200,000 Israelis, known as the capital of the Negev, the capital of southern Israel. Ofakim is roughly halfway between the Gaza border and Beersheba. These are things that did not happen because, as much as there is criticism on the Israeli security establishment, and there should be criticism for what happened, those attacks were stopped that day. Yes, the terrorists did infiltrate and cause massive damage in Israel, but those attacks were stopped. The terrorists were not able to make it to Beersheba. They were not able to make it to Ashkelon, roughly 7 or 8 miles north of the border itself, a city of 160,000 people. Those attacks were stopped, and now Israel is striking itself. But I think we should all remember when we saw this map, this is what ignited this war. Israel is not sending its troops into Gaza, its tanks, because it wants to. Israel is sending its tanks into Gaza because of this, because of what happened. This is a war that has been inflicted on us, caused grave damage on that terrible morning on October 7th, and now Israel is striking, and Israel cannot afford Hamas to be there anymore, loud and clear.
I'm hoping we can bring the images back on the screen. I just want to, for the viewers that were watching this, I believe that the red dots in these communities all around the Gaza border are those that have been murdered, and you can see there is just plenty of them, but those black dots are the ones that indicate those that have been kidnapped or are considered missing.
And we're seeing Nir Oz. Nir Oz is a kibbutz on the southern part of the Gaza border. Nir Oz, roughly, I think some 70 people from this community have been kidnapped.
These are all the names of people, by the way. These are not names of areas when you're looking at this map. This is a zoom in of a kibbutz, and these are the names of people that have been kidnapped, missing, or murdered.
Everyone, and we're seeing in other locations we see more red than black. Specifically in Nir Oz, we're seeing a lot of black dots. So many people from these community have been kidnapped. They're now in Gaza. waiting to come home. Their families who are still here, waiting for them to come home. Nir Oz is the community which has been mostly affected by kidnapping. There was lots of killing there as well, but a lot of kidnapping from the specific community, also from other communities. But if we're speaking, I'm not sure exactly of the numbers. No one is really sure of the numbers, but
which keep changing every day.
From Nir Oz, we're speaking of roughly 70 people kidnapped out of 240. That means that many people were kidnapped from other places as well, from army bases, communities, and so on. Nir Oz is a community that has been strongly affected by kidnapping, and those are people that have to be brought back.